Chris here, and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm here to share with you my TBR for Phase Out Your Seriesathon's hardboard. So if you don't know, I will link the announcement in the cards above, but Phase Out Your Seriesathon is a year-long readathon that I have created with a lot of help from my friend Omi. We have 2 bingo boards, an easy board, whose TBR I will also link in the cards above, and a hardboard, whose TBR I'm about to share with you now. So here is the hardboard. As you can see, there's a lot of trickier prompts on this one compared to the easy board. I have picked out books though for every single prompt on the board, and I'm going to run you through my tentative hardboard TBR. So the first prompt is LGBTQIA plus rep, and for this you just need to read a book that has that representation featured in it or via the author. And for this I'm going to read The Guncle Abroad by Stephen Rowley. This is the sequel to The Guncle. I had a really good time with that and was so excited when I saw that Stephen Rowley was releasing another book in the series with these characters because I had such a good time with the first one. So I'm very excited to dive back into this series. For 3 or more POVs, you need to read a book that has at least 3 different points of view. And for this, I'm going to read Towers of Midnight by Robert Jordan. This is the 13th book in the Wheel of Time series, and every book in the series has definitely had at least 3 different points of view. I would assume this one will be no different. It is a book I was going to get to anyways because I'm doing the Wheel of Time along, so I figured that I should find a place to stick it on my Seriesathon TBR since they're such big books that I might as well utilize the fact that I'm going to be reading them anyways to help me fill out my bingo board. So here's hoping that I'm right, and it does have 3 or more POVs. All 5 vowels in the title. Pretty simple. You just need to find a title that has A, E, I, O, and U in it. And for this, I'm going to read We Wish You a Murderous Christmas by Vicky Delaney. As you can see, I've found a title that easily has all of the vowels in it. This is a book in the year-round Christmas mystery series. This is a series I wanted to get back to. It's a cozy mystery. I really love my cozy mysteries, so I'm looking forward to having this one on this TBR. For poll pick, you need to pick an even number of series you want to get back into and an even number of series that you don't really want to read right now. Put them in a poll and let the people decide. So there is a section in the Phase Out Discord where you can add your poll picks. I have put a poll up there. There's still 24 hours left in this poll as of filming. The 2 series I wanted to get back to are The Uncommoners and Dress Coded. The 2 I didn't were the Cozy Witch Mystery and the Evanfall Witches B&B. And the winner of the poll is, I don't know, because I haven't looked at the results of the poll. So this is going to be the book I need to read. I only needed to read 1 book to complete this prompt, just need to continue that series. So here is the book that I'm going to read, and I will put either a thumbs up or a thumbs down, just to be clear as to whether I'm excited about this or not. Next, we have Trio of Trilogies. And this means I need to finish off 3 different trilogies that I'm in the midst of. For this, you could just be on the first book and need to read books 2 and 3. Or you could just have the last book left. It doesn't really matter, but you have to read the last book of each of those trilogies. So for this, you're going to need to read somewhere between 3 and 6 books to finish this prompt. I only need to read 3 because I picked 3 trilogies where I'm on the last book. So I will be reading A Thunder of Monsters by S.A. Patrick, The Greatest Kingdom by Francesca Gibbons, and C.C. Rios and the Queen of Brujas by Kayla Rivera. These are the 3 books I need to read to finish my trilogies. While they are all middle grade fantasy series, they're all very different. I've enjoyed all 6 books I've read in these series, so I look forward to being able to finish them in 2025. Exactly 2 POVs. For this, you just need to read a book that has 2 points of view. You can't have a third one in the epilogue. The second POV can't be the epilogue. It has to be an even mixture of POVs. So for a majority of the book, it needs to be these 2 POVs without, like I said, a third one popping up in the epilogue or something. And for this, I'm planning on reading Finding Mr. Perfect by Cody Gray. From what I can tell, we will alternate between the 2 main characters' points of view. I'm not 100% certain on this because I haven't actually picked the book up, but if memory serves, the first book was the same way, so I don't see any reason this one would be different. I had a good time with the first one. This is kind of a companion, so we're following our main character's best friend, if memory serves, and I'm excited to catch up on this series by reading this one. Features a major event. For this one, you need to read a book that has some kind of major event. It could be a holiday, it could be a birthday, it could be a wedding, an anniversary, a coronation, a major battle, just some kind of major event that happens at some point during your book. For this, I'm going to read See You at the Altar. This is the third book in the Tea and Tome series. This comes out, I believe, in 2025. And I've really enjoyed the first book. I have not read the second one yet, so I will have to read that before I can get to this one. But based on what I've seen, it seems that there's going to be a wedding in this one, which would definitely count as a major event. So excited to continue on with the series and get caught up on it, because if this does come out in 2025, that means I'm making sure I don't fall behind on that series. Series you avoid. This is a series for whatever reason that you are avoiding, and you have to finish it. So maybe it gets you to read that final book that for whatever reason you've been putting off, or maybe, like me, you have a few books in the series that you need to read, and for some reason you just haven't read them. So for me, I'm going to finish Paper Girls, and to do this, I need to read books 3, 4, 5, and 6. I have no idea why, given that it's a graphic novel series, I haven't picked these up, but I haven't, so this is giving me that push to finish the series and get it off of my series to continue spreadsheet. We'll see how it goes, but at least I found one that I could read with relative ease. Disability rep. Read a book that has some sort of disability rep in it. For this, I'm going to read Time to Roll. Our main character is in a wheelchair in this series. I really enjoyed the first book, and I'm looking forward to seeing what our main character gets up to in the second one. It's a middle grade contemporary series. The first one was a real easy read, so I expect the second one to continue that trend. 75% of cover is your favorite color. This means to read a book where the cover is 75% your favorite color, whatever that is. For me, it's purple, so I will be reading The Broken Mirror. As you can see, this is a very, very purple cover. I've enjoyed this series, and I might reread the first two books to jog my memory, because it's been a minute since I've read them. And I think the best thing I can do is refresh my memory, because I believe, off the top of my head, that The Broken Mirror is book 3. I believe book 4 just came out in paperback, because I've been getting them in paperback, which means I also own book 4. And if the pattern holds, the 5th and final book will be released in paperback at the end of 2025. But I can always get it from the library, so I should be able to finish this series next year, especially if I do a reread, because I would probably just keep on going. So this might actually inspire me to finish the whole series, even though this is only book 3. 6 or more colors. For this, you need to find a book that has 6 or more different colors on the cover. It cannot be shades, it has to be colors. And for this, I'm actually going to hold this one up. I'm going with The Witch's Apprentice, because we have red on his hoodie, orange on this bird, black and white on this bird, so there is 4 colors right there. This bird has a brown head, so there's 5. As you can see, we have blue here, so there's 6. Purple, 7. Green is 8. Some yellow here, so that's 9. I've definitely nailed the 6 or more colors on the cover. This is the third book in the Dragons in a Bag series. I've had a really, really good time with this series, so I am very excited to pick this book up and continue my journey with it. Translate. For this, you need to read a book that has in some way been translated. And for this, I'm going to read Cat and Gamer Volume 6. This is a super cute manga series that I've really, really enjoyed. And because it's been translated from its original language, it is perfect for this prompt, and it will be an easier one to fill. And given how hard this board is, I figured it was good to add in a few easy ones here and there. Finish a series. For this, you just need to finish a series. Any series that you want, you just need to read that series to completion. Now, again, this could be a series that you're only on book 2 and there's 7 books in the series, or it could just be a series where you only have the last book. For me, I'm reading The Fall of the Readers by Django Wexler. This is the final book in I believe it's called the Forbidden Library series. I'm planning on rereading this series because I have not picked this series up in a long time, and I don't know why I never finished it. I only had the 1 book left, and I just never finished it. So to finish it, I really do need to jog my memory. So I will be rereading this series so that I can finally finish it off this year, and this bingo board is certainly helping me make sure that I hold to that. Pub in the last 3 months. For this, you need to read a book within 3 months of its published date. So there's a possibility you could read a 2024 release if you're reading it right in January and it was published in December. But for me, I'm planning on going with a 2025 release and reading Adrift in Currents Clean and Clear by Shauna Maguire. This comes out on January 7th. It is a book I know I'm going to get to almost immediately. I'm planning on reading it in January, so I will easily be able to read it within 3 months of it being published, and it will bring me right back up to current on the Wayward Children series. For published in your birth month, you need to read a book that was published in the month you were born. I was born in February. So I went with a book that was published on February 27th. Momo Arashima Breaks the Mirror of the Sun. This is the second book in the Momo Arashima series. I've read the first one. This is another series I need to get back to. And this readathon is definitely giving me that boost because this is a series I could have seen me not picking up. Not because I didn't enjoy it, but because, like, out of sight, out of mind, it's been a bit since I've read the first one. So I kind of needed that extra nudge to pick the series back up and get back into it. For the next prompt, you need to read 4 books because its title has J, Q, X, and Z in the title. And these need to be 4 separate books. You need to find a book with a J in the title, a different book with an X in the title, a different book with a Q in the title, and a different book with a Z in the title. For J, I'm going Just Beyond the Very, Very Far North by Dan Barrell. This is the second book in the series. I remember thinking the first book was really cute. So I'm excited to read this one, and I think it'll be an easier read. For Q, I'm going with Quest by Angie Sage. This is a series I would like to finish this year. It is one where I've read the first book multiple times, so I really, really need to get on it. And if you watched my easy board, you would have seen a few of the series pop up on there too. So definitely making sure I get through this one. For X, I'm reading Phoenix and the Frost Palace by Aisling Fowler. This is the second book in this series. I started the series in 2024, so I'm happy to continue it in 2025. And then for Z, I'm taking a bit of a gamble because I've chosen Zealots and Zenus by S. Usher Evans. This is the 7th book in the Weary Dragon Inn series, and I'm only through book 2. So I've got a little bit of reading to do before I can get to this one, but I've enjoyed what I've read of this series so far, so hopefully that will continue, and I'm able to get through book 7 in 2025. In progress. For this, you need to catch up on a series that is still being written. And for this, I'm going with the Murderbot Diaries by Martha Wells. From what I can tell, there's at least 2 more books that she has been contracted to write. So this series is still in progress. However, as you can see, I have quite a few books left in this series to read. The next one I'm on is Rogue Protocol. So we'll see how this goes. I picked a series I was interested in and wanted to catch up on in 2025 anyways, even though there's quite a few books, and I could have probably made this easier for me by picking a series I had less books to complete. I wanted to challenge myself and try to get through some of those series that I have been neglecting that I still really enjoyed. So we'll see if I can catch up on the Murderbot Diaries in 2025. Next up, for BIPOC Rep, you need to read a book that has BIPOC Rep in it, or the author is a BIPOC author. For this, I'm reading On Air with Zoe Washington by Janae Marks. This is another series where when I read the first book, I thought it was a standalone, and then found out later that it wasn't, and that we were getting a second book. And I really enjoyed the first one, so very excited to dive back into the series and catch up with Zoe. TBR that by pub date. So for this, you need to look at all of the series you're in the midst of, find the book that was the oldest one published, and read that book. For this, I'm reading Little Men by Louisa May Alcott, and it was published in 1871. When I looked at my spreadsheet, there were 3 obvious series that this could possibly be, and that was Hercule Poirot by Agatha Christie, Anne of Green Gables, and, well, Little Women, and this one went out. I really enjoyed Little Women, so I'm very excited to read Little Men. And honestly, when I was looking at the 3 off the top of my head that I knew were the oldest, I would have had no problem picking up any of those series and continuing them for this prompt. So our next prompt is to read a book that has none of the following words in its title: if, of, an, and, but, or the. So none of those words can be in the title of your book. For this, I'm going to read Positively Betrayed. This is the final book in this series, and I purposely put it there even though I'm not on the final book to give me that push to finish the series in 2025. It is a cozy mystery with fantasy elements. I ripped through the first 2 books and then just didn't pick up the next 3, so we're going to get through this in 2025, and this will be the prompt that gets me there. Starts and ends with the same letter. So for this, you need to read a book whose title begins and ends with the same letter. For this, I'm reading Dying in a Winter Wonderland by Vicky Delaney. As you can see, it starts with a D and ends with a D. This is another book in the year-round Christmas mystery series. It's a series I'm going to be working on in 2025, so I was super excited when I saw that it fulfilled this prompt because I thought I was really going to struggle with this one, and luckily I found this one pretty quickly. Wheel spin. For this, you need to pick an even number of series. Again, series you're excited to get back to and series you're less excited to get back to. And spin a wheel, and whatever series comes up, you have to catch up on or finish that series. So the 3 series I wanted to catch up on are Amelia Fang, Adventures on Trains, and The Explorers Club. And the 3 series I did not want to have to catch up on are Hercule Poirot, One Piece, and How to Train Your Dragon. Now, keep in mind, if I had gotten any of those, I would have only had to read 5 books because I'm not a monster. So if you're reading a series that has a lot of books, you have to read at least 5 books in that series. Because, for instance, if One Piece were to come up, I would have to read pretty much nothing but One Piece all year long. And I did not want to have to do that to myself, but I did intentionally pick 5 series where I knew I would have to read at least 5 books for the ones I was less excited to get back to. And I'm going to pop in the footage here of the wheel spin. And the winner is Amelia Fang. I'm very, very happy with this. For this, I only need to read 2 books, and that is Amelia Fang and the Naughty Catacorns and Amelia Fang and the Trouble with Toads. I have adored this series. I've finally purchased the last 2 books so I can finish off the series. So I was overjoyed when I saw that the wheel gave me one of the series I actually wanted to finish. Last letter first. So what this means is that the title of the book you choose for this prompt must begin with the last letter of the last book you finished. And I do have a plan for this. So I'm going to tell you my book, and then the next prompt will explain my plan. So for this, I'm going to read Gustav Gloom and the Four Terrors. I started this series this year. I had a really, really fun time with it. And I'm looking forward to continuing it in 2025 because this is also a series I have on my easy board. And I plan to read this back to back with a book whose title ends in G. Now, just to point out, you don't need to do it the way I'm doing it. You can do any book you wanted, but I'm intentionally choosing a book that fulfills another prompt on this board. So let's hop into the next prompt and I will explain. 5 or more books. This means you need to catch up on or finish a series that has 5 or more books in it. The series I have chosen is The School for Good and Evil. And I have 3 books left in this series. Quest for Glory, A Crystal of Time, and One True King. And King ends in G. So I plan to read One True King, finish that, and then pick up the next book in the Gustav Gloom series. So there is my last letter, first letter. That's how I'm planning on fulfilling it. This is another series I've been putting off and really needed to get back to. So I picked it for 2 reasons. 1, because it was a series that had 5 or more books, and 2, because it worked well with my last letter, first letter. So I was trying to keep that in mind as I was planning my TBR. So very excited to get back into this one and to be able to finish another series. And then last but not least, black and white cover. So the idea behind this is to read a book whose cover is black, white, or shades of gray. Think like a black and white photograph. As I was researching this, I saw that might be a little bit tricky, so it needs to be at least 90% black, white, or gray. And for this, I'm going to read Hello City by Ransom Riggs. As you can see, I do have a bit of a like goldish brown tone on here. So it's not all black and white, but it is definitely 90% black, white, or gray. This is another book in the Miss Peregrine's series. I enjoyed the first book. I've got books 2 and 3 on my Seriesathon TBR as a whole between the 2 boards. So we'll see how this one goes and if I enjoy it. Fingers crossed that I do. So there you have it. That is my tentative TBR for the hardboard. Obviously, this could change. If I DNF a series, I might have to swap out some prompts. I may start a new series in 2025 and finish the same series in 2025 that fits one of these prompts better and swap it out there. This is just a tentative TBR and to give you an idea of how I'm planning on filling the prompts. I am very, very excited with the amount of series I'm planning on getting through in 2025 already, and we're not even there yet. So we'll see if I can complete both boards and how many other series I manage to work my way through in the year 2025. Are you taking part in Seriesathon? If so, which board are you doing? Or are you, like me, doing both? Let me know in the comment section below. All of my social media is linked in the description below if you'd like to come chat with me. If you've made it this far in the video, leave me a fox emoji. Like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!